It's not about, it's not about, it's not about the injury. It's not about, it's not about, it's not about the injury. It's about the recovery. It's about the recovery.
Hello, this is Tony Abbotangelo. I have the honor of doing the Paul Padda Podcast today. Paul's off fighting the fight for clients and in court. So I'm over here today at the Red Chimp Studios, very excited to interview Dane Wilt, D-A-N-E, Wilt, like the dead flower, as you said.
There you
I
go.
love that. Dane is at Lotus Broadcasting. He is the sports marketing director. Is that correct title? I'm not preparing for the Raiders. I had an eye surgery. Just want to let everybody know that. But we'll get that later. So Dane, let's jump into it. Give us a little bit about your background and how you ended up being a big shot at Lotus Broadcasting.
I'm not a big shot, but really I had been working in the Bay Area, and this is back in the early 80s, and I decided I wanted to go back to school and become a firefighter. So
Great job. You work 4 days a week.
There you go. There you go. Good benefits. I would be retired by now.
Yes.
But what happened was I enrolled in this JC, was taking fire science courses. I did a couple of ride-alongs and figured out that I did not have the stomach for the EMT work that comes with firefighting.
I'm with you. That's why I didn't go to medical school.
Yeah.
I'm not a blood guts. We're lovers. We're not fighters.
Yeah, there you go.
We're lovers.
Yeah, so at that point I'm now in Sacramento, California, and I'd given up my job in the Bay Area, and I started opening up the course catalog, and I saw advertising, public relations, and I thought, hey, that's something I could do. I always felt that I was more creative than I was academically inclined, so jumped into that, started working for the school radio station, got a job.
Literally the school radio station.
Yeah, literally the school radio station.
And you're in school.
Yep.
Oh, cool. So you're like on the ground floor.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a small junior college in Sacramento called Cosumnes River College, and has a great media program. Unlike a lot of people, I didn't finish my 2 years and then move on to a 4-year. I started to sell advertising for a local newspaper in Sacramento and then a radio station, and started making enough money that I decided to stop school. And then
you're on the career path.
On the career path, yeah. So as an account executive, selling ads, and then got a call from a station here in Las Vegas, and this would have been in '86 or '87, and moved out here to work at KLUC Radio.
K-Lock, that's going.
K-Lock, yeah, back with Mike O'Brien and the Breakfast Flakes.
I was going to say 98.5, right?
Yeah,
I remember them.
Going back. And then from there I got into television. I worked for Jim Rogers at Sunbelt for almost 13 years.
And Sunbelt, just so the people listening know that was actually started here, right? Didn't Jim start here?
Yeah, he started with Channel 3.
He was old school Vegas. Even my ex-wife worked for him, and she said you had to keep your desk clean.
You had to keep your desk clean.
Because when Jim would come in, and heads would roll if you had a messy desk, regardless of performance.
Yeah. So I spent 12 years,
so
almost
you have
13.
any stories about that? May he rest in peace. Jim's passed
Oh
away.
yeah, no, I love Jim. No, that's exactly right. You could be doing everything great with your job, but you had to keep things clean. He had that, and good or bad, it was one of the things I picked up. So when I started running my own operations, I took a lot of those. I started thinking about the equipment that we're sitting in front of here. If you spill, a soda or something on them, you've destroyed $40,000 worth of equipment. So I took some of his OCD-ness and incorporated it into my management style.
And not to go too much onto him, but that Sunbelt is similar to Lotus, it sounds like, where it was a small local company.
Yep.
And he grew, because I remember back in the day, or maybe even still today, there's stations in Vegas, the small towns of like Winnemucca.
Yeah, he was up in Elko, up in Idaho. I think he had a station in Albuquerque, Reno, of course. So we had both ends of the state and going. So yeah. And then he got into the radio business, and he bought some radio stations, and then he put me in charge of the radio operations. So I did that here in town, and then also up north. And then when we sold those, he sent me up to Reno to run the NBC television station up there, which I was horrible at.
For those people listening, you're not always great at a job. You can learn and you can move forward. You keep your career path.
Right. Yeah. No. I'd spent some time in television, so I understood television. It's just a lot of people, so you're managing 100 plus people, and it was just I was a little over my skis, to put it mildly. So I did the best I could.
Right.
Then great story. I called Jim Rogers, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to give you a 6 weeks notice. I'm going to take my family to Europe for the summer and kind of revitalize. And I think I was 34 or so at the time.
Oh, so you're still young?
Yeah, I'm still young. Yeah, I'm still young in my career. And he made a great comment. He said, hey, I could have saved a couple of marriages if I would have done that. And I'm like, great. Got his blessing to do that and did that. And then I came back and started working for Lotus. And that was about 19 years ago.
All right, so why don't you describe Lotus for our listeners?
All right,
so when we met beforehand, I thought that was a big, huge company.
Yeah, Lotus it's a decent-sized broadcast company. We probably have in the neighborhood of 50 radio stations. Mainly everything's out west, so Tucson, Fresno, Sacramento, Bakersfield, Idaho. We just bought some stations in Boise.
So some little markets and some bigger markets.
Little markets and some big markets. And then Las Vegas. But we've, Lotus is it was started in 1962. So it's one owner, Howard Kalmanson, and he is 87 years old, and he's still, him and his family own it, but he's still very, very involved in the business. He's a former Marine, and I wouldn't fight him even at 87.
He's one of them guys.
He's one of those guys. He's great. You want to talk to somebody who has stories? The man has stories, and he's an amazing owner. And if you look at Lotus and all of our facilities around the country, in Reno, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary of being in Reno. We've been in this market, I believe, just a little over 50 years. We've been in Tucson pretty close to 50. Most of the people that work for the company have been there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years because of Howard. And Howard lets everybody manage people first and then bottom line. And it's a great way to operate.
Right,
and
you can still make money.
Yeah, but you
can
treat
also
people
have
well.
that human soul.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of 50 years of local participation, that's how the casinos used to be.
Right.
The casinos weren't all corporate.
Yeah.
Now you go into a casino and you got to have your rewards card or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And you got to have played a certain amount of points to get a buffet or a dinner or a show. Before it was like, hey, Dane's here, come on in.
Right.
They took care of you.
And the $1.99 steak, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a different
Bingo
world.
Palace. I used to get my 49-cent breakfast after midnight. Which is now the Palace Station, for those of you listening.
It is now the Palace Station.
So you've been in Vegas a long time.
Yeah, so I was down here for 12 years, up there for 20.
And up there being Reno.
Yeah, up there being Reno. Yeah, up there being Reno. Thank you. And I was the general manager of our cluster. We have 7 stations in Reno. And then with the Raiders coming to town, with the Knights here, with, again, I grew up outside of Oakland, so I'm a Raider fan since I was a little kid, and also an Oakland A's fan. And there's rumors the A's might be coming. That would be dynamite. But with the growth of sports in this market and it going from a small sports market to now a major sports market, I kind of begged, but I also, the company wanted me to come down here and help with our sports properties, a little more focus on those. And what we have is, we have the ESPN affiliate at 100.9 FM. We have the Fox Sports affiliate at 98.9. We have 920 AM The Game, and then we have 1460 Kino, which is one of the original stations in this market. We were talking about that earlier.
I used to listen to Kino as a kid. That was where we got our music. AM radio.
Yeah,
so people actually listen to AM radio?
People are still listening to AM radio.
How do you even find AM radio? Do you have a...
You just push the button, man.
That
you
says
go
AM?
this one to that one. Yeah, you just push the one that says AM. Yeah, no, there's still a thirst there if you're giving them something that you can't find somewhere else, and we do. We have basically it's Deportes Las Vegas, so it's sports in Spanish. We're the home of the Knights, so we have the Vegas Golden Knights on both Fox and on the Spanish.
Now, do they cater the Spanish stations? I know this seems like a stupid question, as I always like to say, there's not stupid questions, there's stupid people.
Yeah.
So I presume the Spanish stations cater to the Spanish market.
Sure.
So, they in the Spanish market seem to enjoy soccer, for example.
Yeah. So we have we're the home of the Lights. So
Okay.
we play the Lights games on there, which is the USL team here in town. We also will play a lot of EPL, which is English Premier League. We play a lot of the Mexican national soccer. So yeah, it's very, very soccer focused, but also one of the first Spanish, I think it was either first or second Spanish sports station in the country to put hockey on.
Which would be the Knights.
Which would be the Knights. And the Knights were progressive enough to say, hey, can we do this? And the voice of the Knights works for us, and he's just amazing, you know.
And he is obviously doing those games in Spanish, and caters to the Spanish community, because the Spanish community, which my wife, my mother-in-law, you know, are Hispanic and have Mexican background, and they are very proud of their heritage. It's what, a third of the population in Clark County now.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you got to cater to that market.
Yeah. But for us, you know, I just talked about our 4 sports stations. We also have 2 rock stations: 97.1 The Point, which is a classic rock, it's been here forever, and then 92.3 KOMP.
Back in the day, Craig and Andy and all those guys.
So you know that drill. And then we also have 2 music Spanish language stations.
So it's the diversity of the market, especially if you were back here, would you say basically started 30 years ago?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything on the Hispanic markets.
Yeah, much smaller
one
spot
radio
on the dial,
station, one FM, and now you've got multiple stations, as well as a variety of, you know, English-speaking stations. So what's up with the Knights? How do the Knights get listened to? Because I mean, I got my Knights jersey. I grew up here. I don't know boo about hockey. I'm still trying to figure out icing going past 2 blue lines, nobody touching it.
Yeah, right.
Offsides, whatever they call it.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you. I grew up a Golden Seals fan. If anybody's from the Bay Area, that's where I grew up, and that was a defunct team. And then I became a Sharks fan. And I know.
Dale,
so
we got 19 minutes left. I think we should just call it a day.
So I'm sorry. I've changed my colors. So the first Knights game I went to was the Sharks and the Knights. It was the last game of the inaugural season, and it was amazing. The experience was like nothing. Then I get back to the city and find out that every car has a Knights sticker or a Knights license plate, and it is amazing to watch. And our phones light up. People love listening to the games. We have a program on our Fox affiliate, you know, the VGK Insiders. It's a daily program where
really?
Just
what
talk
time is
about.
That? See, I'm glad you're here.
From 3 to 4 o'clock,
okay.
Monday through Friday.
And that's on what station again?
On 98.9, Fox Sports Radio.
Because I, for example, mentioning the cars. My wife, we got the Golden Knights plate. Yeah. My 17-year-old, she's driving a car on her own. She put 2 stickers on it. Yeah. I mean, this is our town and our team. Yeah. In all respect to the Raiders, you know, they've been bouncing around or been elsewhere. Like Indianapolis Colts way back in the day were from Baltimore. But Vegas Knights are from Vegas. Yeah. And man, the fans have gone crazy.
Well, their marketing has been unbelievable. You know, going to the Stanley Cup first out of the gate helps a ton. But their marketing is great, and it's a good organization filled with good people.
And you can tell that when you go to the games, like you mentioned. When you go to a game, and I've been there like 2 or 3 a year. I don't have season tickets or anything, but they're just so much fun. And even when we play the Sharks, a big rival. Yeah. The fans that are there for the Sharks and the fans that are there for the Knights, they might jab at each other, but it doesn't get crazy.
No, it's a comfortable environment.
It's a great environment. It's a lot of fun. It's just a blast. Yeah. It's been awesome.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out to me, because we just hired a new employee, and I took him and his wife to a game, or actually his fiance to a game. And what was great is when you're walking out, the staff is lined up to say goodbye to you as you're walking out the door, which is such a nice touch. And the song girls or, the pom-pom girls it's just tremendous. Yeah, the whole from start to finish, it's an incredibly good product. On the ice, off the ice, just they're great.
And you guys
they're great partners.
Yeah, you have a great ability to advertise. I mean, not advertise, but play their games.
Yep. So that's great. We play those on 98.9 also.
So we've got 4 sports channels. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, so 3 general market or English and 1 Spanish.
One of them you said was ESPN. How does that work in tandem with your scheduling and what programming you have?
So we take with ESPN. So ESPN has a 24-hour network.
Right,
they're
huge.
So we could just play all ESPN, but because we're a big enough market, we can afford to have local talent. We have a local morning show, It's called the Press Box with Ed Graney and Clay Baker, and
Ed
they're
Graney,
dynamite.
does he write for one of the papers?
Yep, he writes for the RJ, and he's awesome. He's smart, travels with the Raiders a lot. He's one of the beat reporters for the Raiders, so he's going to all the games. And then we go to Tyler Bischoff, who does a show. It's a 1-hour show, and then we have Cofield and Company and Afternoon Drive, and then in the middle.
Is that local?
Yeah, that's local too.
So you get to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, so we're local, and then we have Dan Lebitard, which is the network show that we actually run in the middle of the day from the ESPN
show.
product. Yeah.
Yeah, the sports radio, it's crazy.
Oh, it's insane. And it's blown up. It's not. When I was growing up, sports radio was facts and figures, and it didn't have a lot of opinion. It was really play-by-play based. Now it's very opinion based. It's men's lifestyle, so they're not just talking about sports. They're talking about men's lifestyle. So they might be talking about. This morning, the Press Box, they have the folks on from Southern Nevada Wine and Spirits, and they come in and do what's it called? There's a name for making cocktails. It's special. Mixology. Mixology. Yeah. So they're talking cocktails,
Right.
for 20 minutes every Thursday morning, So it's not just, and it's not, I say men's lifestyle, but it's just lifestyle, and we kind of stay out of politics as much as possible.
So
it's a break from that.
So like back in the day, I remember Jim Rome.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then they'd go on the rant, and you get all these crazy opinions. So
Yeah.
that's what it seems like they do. They stir it up a bit,
Yep.
get people going.
Get people going and throw out their takes and their opinions. And I'm not sure if you've heard of JT the Brick, but he's on our Fox station, does Afternoon Drive over there, and he's amazing. And he was on.
You also have Fox. So is it a similar situation with Fox as ESPN that national shows, I guess, will call
so we
them
have we have Dan Patrick and Colin Cowherd, who's was in Vegas for a lot of years.
There's a funny story about Colin Cowherd. You growing up here, or was it 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, he worked at Channel 3 at the same time I was there. So that was
And you know how the old guys have their opinions. Speaking of sports radios, one of my friend's dad, he's passed away now. Hey, Colin Cowherd's on. And then all of a sudden he's this national.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's huge now.
Yeah.
So we can say we remember him when he was.
Yeah, when I worked with him.
I always heard good things about him.
Yeah, really good guy. Yeah, and again, I worked with him years and years and years ago, and then we, I haven't spoken to him really since.
Life goes
I'm in Reno, and I hear that he's getting the national gig. He was on ESPN before he moved over to Fox. And I went home and told my wife, I said, guess who got a national gig? And she said, Colin. She just knew, because you just knew he had those chops. So
yeah, he was. I've heard things in the community when he was back in the day that people liked him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't just a jerk. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So that was good for him. It was nice to see somebody that rolled through Vegas.
He's done well, and and JT, I think he was on the network for 14, 15 years, and now does local stuff and is on Sirius Radio, and he's worked for the Raiders, JT the Brick. So what's great about having him on the radio stations, first of all, he's a big hockey guy. He's an East Coast guy, grew up with hockey, but he's a Raider guy through and through.
Oh, he's a Raider Nation, baby.
Yeah, he's been working with them for about 20 years in different capacities. So he has an inside look on what they're doing. So so we're pretty dialed. And then the other station, which, if I'm not boring you with this,
it's good.
The other station, 920 The Game, is now mainly filled with the Better Network, which is it's all sports gaming.
Well, compared to the worst network, we want to be
exactly. Yeah, but it's BETR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're throwing me a curveball there.
But Brett Musburger is on that, and he's also the voice of the Raiders. He does a program.
No offense, Brett. Didn't like you back in the day because he wasn't a Tarkanian fan. And a good friend of mine.
That's great.
Was the daughter of President Maxim, and when Jerry retired, I said, "Look, your dad forced out Jerry Tarkanian. We had one of the best semi-pro basketball teams around. We were at the point we didn't have to cheat to recruit anymore.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But Musburger used to give Tark a hard time. But he's been around forever too.
Oh yeah. So
Musburger.
I'm not sure if he's a partner of the network, but they're actually based out of the South Point Hotel, and they have a full 24/7. And most of their talk is betting, but it's sports, with a betting focused, and stuff. And there's a thirst for that too.
Well, one thing I'd like to say about the betting is it's ridiculous how Vegas was always tainted or Nevada as a whole
Yeah.
with the sports betting and everything else.
And now it's spreading.
Well, not only spreading, but if it wasn't for the sports betting, and you could talk to anybody in their local community outside Nevada, there was a bookie.
Yeah.
There was a guy taking the
Yeah,
bets.
someone's taking the money, right?
That kept the NFL alive because I don't care about Jacksonville playing Atlanta being a West Coast guy.
Right.
But if I got money on it, I'm in. And now with fantasy football, what's going on is that's illegal betting.
Right.
But we'll come back and I want to talk about the getting into the market, how young people out there and people listening can get involved.
Sure.
So thank you here for listening to Paul Padda Podcast.
Hi folks, this is Paul Padda for the people with a helpful daily tip for you. Now, if you've been in a car accident, often what will happen is you'll get a phone call from the other side's insurance company and they'll want to talk to you and they'll ask you questions. And listen, the first rule of life is just remember, the insurance company that represents the other driver, they're not there to help you. They're not there to give you money. They're not there to do anything except try to undermine your potential claim. It's very, very important that if you get a call from an insurance representative who represents the other adverse driver, just tell them you don't want to talk and lawyer up. That's one of the smartest things you can do. And I always tell people, some clients say, well, do I really need a lawyer? And I always tell them, well, do you really need a person to cut your hair? You could probably cut it yourself, but it's probably not a good idea. Yeah, you do need a lawyer. You need a lawyer in your corner who's going to fight for you, who has handled hundreds, if not thousands of cases, who knows the ins and outs, and who knows how to beat the insurance companies at their own game. So remember, if you get a phone call from an insurance company acting all friendly and telling you how much they care and they want to help you, be very, very, very skeptical. They are not there to help you. They're not there to give you money. They're not bad people, but they have a job to do, and their job is to represent the driver who caused the accident and to help that person, not necessarily help you. Remember that and be very cautious what you say. Just tell them, I have a lawyer, and he'll be in touch with you. Thank you. This is Paul Padda for the people with another helpful tip.
Hello, Tony Abbott-Angelo here at the Paul Padda Podcast, covering for Paul. As I said earlier, he's down at the Regional Justice Center fighting for justice for our people. Gotta love that guy. I have the honor of interviewing Mr. Dane Wilt over at Lotus Broadcasting or Lotus Sports. So what we left off at the break is talking about the medium of radio and people listening to it. Like I was joking earlier about AM radio. I haven't listened to AM radio in years. I have kids between 15 and 22. As I was telling you, they have a lease on a car. Hey, you want your Sirius radio renewed? Nope, I just plug and they go. So what's the future of radio? What about young people wanting to get into the industry, et cetera? Just run with it.
No, that's great. That's a great question. So I have always referred to radio as the cockroach of media.
La cucaracha, you cannot kill it.
Cockroach, you cannot kill it. So television was supposed to kill it, and then what was the MTV? Video's going to kill the radio star. Was the 8 tracks if we go back that far?
Absolutely, man. Rocking
Cassettes,
out.
the iPods, the i this and the i that. Everything was going to kill radio. Radio right now, over-the-air broadcast radio, is the largest reach medium in media. More people on a daily basis listen to their radio stations than go to Google, go onto the websites, watch television, cable, or anything else.
So when you say radio, let me ask you, I just mentioned Sirius radio.
Yeah.
Does that count with you, or is that?
I am just talking over-the-air broadcast radio.
So straight up, like you mentioned
Straight up.
earlier, 97.1,
Yep.
98.5.
Yeah. Now,
that.
the reason is because we're local. Everything else, so I can listen to Led Zeppelin. Let's just use Led Zeppelin as an example. I could listen to Led Zeppelin.
We're dating ourselves.
Right,
here.
exactly.
Led Zeppelin rocks.
Yeah, I could find Led Zeppelin, anywhere I want to go.
Right.
But I can't find Led Zeppelin with Fox and McKenzie, who's a morning show on point, introducing it, telling me the weather, telling me what happened with the Knights last night. As long as we stay local and we keep serving the community, people will keep dialing into our radio stations.
And obviously that would be true across the country.
Across the country.
Because everybody wants to hear it. Because that's what I do. I watch national news a little bit, just like the 5:30 news.
Yeah.
Because I just want to get some tidbits. I don't watch CNN, Fox, because it's all opinions, and I really don't care what other opinions are. But I do watch the local news.
Yeah.
Same thing, because they're telling local stories.
And we're comfortable. So
Well, that's such a basic concept.
we're doing traffic reports. We're telling you what the weather's going to be. We're telling you where the concerts are. We're giving you concert tickets. And on the sports end, we're telling you what happened with, the
yes,
Rebels
did you
last
have some
night.
Knights tickets? Mason and I would like to go.
Yeah. No, Knights tickets we don't have.
No, okay. Mason, we're out.
You guys are out.
How about anything else? Any leftovers?
No.
Gee.
Well, I'll find you guys something.
Yeah,
But,
it might not be what we want, but hey, it's something.
but we also know that we're in the audio business. So we cannot just live, die, and breathe over-the-air broadcast signals. So we also stream all of our products. So you can go online, an app on the phone or on your desktop and stream the radio stations.
Would that be Lotus app?
Yeah. Well, each station has its
each
own app.
station
Yep.
specific.
Yep. Or you can just go to our websites and click on there and get it. So you have the apps. Then you also have podcasts, just like we're doing today. Our shows take their shows, they cut them up, they make podcasts out of them, post them up so you can go and download the podcast.
Is that site specific or more show specific? Because my wife finds these podcasts and I'm listening to whatever it is. So how do you find your stuff on podcasts?
So you can get them off of our websites is the most convenient way, and then wherever else you find your other podcast. If you just go in and you're looking for the VGK Insider podcast, you can go in and just type in VGK Insiders podcast. Should be uploaded. You can grab those and listen to them. So you don't have to hear us through the speaker, that your traditional speaker.
So that's where the
but
younger
you all,
generation
right,
that streams everything.
Yep, that's exactly right.
In.
And then also, the Amazon, the Echo and
Echo.
The Google
Big
Home and
Echo,
all.
aka Big Brother, listening.
All of that.
Not that I'm paranoid.
Yep. We connect on those, so you can call and get those, and so
what
there's
about
there's
a
lots of
career
ways.
in radio? Let's jump over there because I know we've been going for a while now.
First, I'll tell you, it's a great industry. There are careers. It's like I said, it's not just over-the-air broadcast radio. So if your passion or your interest is on the digital side of things, we have digital sides of things. Also in our marketing areas, we also have digital products. We can help you with your Facebook ads. We can help you with your basically anything that you can buy on your digital website ads, all of that. So anybody that wants to get into that kind of a business. Also, I'd be truly a horrible person if I didn't mention that if you have a kid going into college who's interested in broadcasting or is already in college here in the state, the Nevada Broadcasters Foundation, the Tony and Linda Benici Broadcasters Foundation, do a scholarship every year, lots of them. I think they've put maybe 150 kids through college at this point. So if you're interested in a career in broadcasting, there's help out there for you.
As well. Besides a job and career, there's scholarship opportunities. So for example, if I'm 19, 20, I'm interested in doing something in radio. Besides being the face on or the voice on the radio, I should say. Marketing background. What background?
Sure,
would you go into?
You could do marketing and advertising. If you're into digital and digital specialist. I mean, helping
What do you
us
say?
with
What does digital specialist mean to an old guy like me?
So digital would be maintaining the websites, doing all the social media, doing all those types of jobs that are also part of a radio station. And even selling those products, which is still now part of a radio station. There's also everything behind the scenes, board op, remote techs, people that go out and set up the events and make them look nice and make sure that all the equipment's running, engineering. I mean, there's...
Just like in a live concert or speaking of the nights earlier, they got the lights, they got everything. There's people running that stuff.
Somebody has to do all that stuff. So there's your DJs. You have those, and you're your talk show host, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of administrative jobs. There's a little bit of everything.
So it's got a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
Well, Dane, I'd really like to thank you for being out here and coming on and taking time out of your day. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And thank you for the listeners joining the Paul Padda Podcast today. Until next time, see you then, and have a good day and take care.
It's not about the